I collapsed at work and was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. The tests revealed that I had a disease and I had to undergo emergency surgery right away. Feeling anxious, I contacted my husband. I'm about to undergo surgery. I think I'll be hospitalized for about a week to monitor my progress after surgery. I thought he would rush to the hospital, but instead he said with a hint of pleasure,
"A week, huh? Well, you'll be safe in the hospital. This is a good opportunity for you to take a break."
Suspicion rose within me, and I decided to check his credit card statements. Turns out, he took advantage of my long-term hospitalization to go on a trip abroad with his mistress. I was livid. I'll show him what I've got. After the surgery, I showed a remarkable recovery and began to prepare for my revenge on Tom. I can't wait to see the look on his face when he returns from the trip. My name is Nancy. Tom and I have been married for 10 years. We are in a phase where we've become indifferent towards each other, almost as if we were part of the furniture. But I guess that's what marriage after 10 years is like. Since we don't have any kids, we both work at the same pace as when we were single, and money is not a concern. I believed we would continue to live out our retirement peacefully. However, for a few years now, Tom has been acting strange. He never used to care about his appearance, but now he's suddenly concerned about how he looks. "Hey, when did you get such fancy clothes?" When I asked, Tom replied, in an annoyed tone,
"What? Does it matter? I sometimes meet people from work outside the office."
Not only that, he started buying clothes that younger people would wear, and even started going to a trendy hair salon.
"I'm going to the salon for a bit."
As he was about to leave, I couldn't help but stop him. "Hey, where have you been getting your hair done lately? You used to go to the $10 barber shop near the train station." To which he replied in a grumpy tone,
"It's none of your business how I spend my money. You go to the salon, don't you?"
"I'm not complaining. I just noticed that you're dressing up a lot lately."
"Huh. Maybe you just don't care enough about how you look."
He was usually working late hours or out of town on business trips, so I didn't pay much attention to when he came home. But lately I noticed that when he came home late, he always smelled of perfume. "Hey, this suit? It smells a bit. Kind of like a woman's perfume." When I interrupted him with that, Tom was visibly flustered.
Well, on the way home, there was a woman next to me on the crowded subway who was wearing a pretty strong perfume. Maybe that's what you're smelling."
His excuse seemed fishy. His actions pointed towards one thing. Clearly, they were signs of infidelity. When I checked our bank account, our savings had been rapidly decreasing for the past few years. He was probably spending it on his mistress. Who was she? How should I find out the truth? And if he was indeed cheating, what should I do? As I thought about these things on my own, I gradually lost my appetite and became depressed. Then one day at work, I collapsed. "Nancy, are you all right? I'm calling an ambulance now." As I was losing consciousness, I could hear the distant voice of my colleague. The next time I opened my eyes, I was in a hospital bed. I was probably under stress because of Tom. The doctor who examined me recommended that I be hospitalized for further tests. Since I hadn't expected to stay overnight, I didn't have anything prepared and immediately called Tom. "Hello, Tom. I collapsed at work today and was taken to the hospital by ambulance."
"An ambulance? What are you doing? Are you in the hospital now?"
"Yes, they want me to stay overnight for tests."
"It's nothing serious, is it?"
"I think it's just stress. I couldn't say outright that it was because of Tom's affair, so I was vague with my words." Then Tom, sounding relieved, said this.
"Well, you've scared me there. So you're not coming home tonight, huh?"
"Yes, the test results will come out tomorrow."
"All right, I got it. The hospital will provide everything you need, right? I don't need to come, do I?"
Huh. Well, I guess it should be okay. But you'll come to hear the test results tomorrow, right?
Huh? Do you need me there? I'm no expert. I won't understand anything they say.
I don't want to hear the results alone. As I yelled that out, Tom reluctantly agreed to come to the hospital with me. The next day, when I heard the test results with my husband, I couldn't believe my ears. The doctor told me they are signs of a stroke, so we need to perform surgery immediately. When I looked at Tom next to me, he seemed just as surprised. Tom pondered for a moment, then asked the doctor,
So that means I can't go home today, right? Correct. We'd like you to stay in the hospital today, and we'll perform the surgery either tomorrow or the day after. And how long will it take until she can be discharged? Well, it depends on your recovery after surgery, but probably about a week. A week? I see. Okay.
As we left the consultation room with heavy hearts, Tom said,
I'll make a phone call.
And walked away. I could hear him talking with someone in the distance.
She won't be around for a week. This is an opportunity. Might as well.
After finishing his call, Tom came back and hastily started getting ready to leave. I hurriedly tried to hold him back. Wait a minute. You're leaving already? I wanted to talk more.
Talk? About what? We've heard everything from the doctor, haven't we? We just have to trust the hospital now. Seems like a good place, so don't worry. You should get some rest. Good luck with the surgery.
He left those cheerful words for me, who stood there stunned, and Tom briskly left. Even though I called to him the time of the surgery, he never answered. From that point, Tom never showed up at the hospital, and I had to go through the surgery alone, filled with anxiety. The surgery was successful, but days passed without a word from Tom, and he never came to the hospital. Our house phone went straight to voicemail, and his cell phone was unreachable. That reminded me of that phone call. With a bad feeling, I checked Tom's credit card statement online. The statement showed a purchase record of 2 airplane tickets to Hawaii, no less. While I was anxiously staying in the hospital alone, Tom was enjoying a trip abroad with his mistress. But that wasn't all. Tens of thousands of dollars on designer brands and dining in high-end restaurants. He'd been spending an amount of money that I'd never dreamt of using, and doing so quite extravagantly. Furthermore, I was able to trace Tom and his mistress's accommodations from their credit card statement, and from there, find her social media. The mistress's social media was chock full of pictures of her and Tom on dates. She must have been sure she wouldn't get caught. Facing all the evidence, my anger towards Tom bubbled to the surface. I couldn't forgive him. I would retaliate. After surgery, as I lay in my hospital bed, all I could think about was how to exact revenge on Tom. Eventually, I came up with a plan, and after that, I could feel an energy surging from within me that I didn't even recognize. Before the surgery, I was nearly crushed with worry, but now my anger towards Tom had transformed into power. The only thing on my mind is getting better as soon as possible so that I can carry out my revenge. Even the doctor who came to check on my post-operative progress was surprised.
Well, this is impressive. It's rare to see someone recover at this speed. Something happened?
With a faint smile, I answered, There's something I need to do, so I wanted to get discharged as soon as possible. So with a recovery speed that could only be described as miraculous, I was discharged earlier than expected. I didn't tell my husband that my discharge date was moved up, and went home alone. There's no point in contacting him if it's just going to go to voicemail anyway. Besides, there's plenty I need to do from here on out. There's no time to rest. I began meticulously preparing for my revenge. The first time Tom contacted me on my cell phone was the day I was originally scheduled to be discharged.
Nancy, I just went to the hospital, and they said you've already been discharged.
Yes, my post-operative progress was good, so I got discharged earlier.
You could have let me know.
Seems like your phone was turned off all this while.
Oh, right. I forgot to charge it. My bad. Okay, I'll head home now.
An hour later, Tom called me again.
Hey, Nancy, what the hell is going on?
What do you mean?
Don't play dumb. Our house is gone.
Oh, you've noticed. I don't need it anymore. So I've cleared the land and put it up for sale. It's in a great location, so I bet it will sell quickly.
What the hell are you talking about? What do you mean you don't need it anymore? That house is our marital property, isn't it? How dare you think you can just sell it off like that?
I didn't expect to hear the phrase, our marital property, out of your mouth.
What do you mean by that?
You know, the money in our joint bank account? That's also our marital property, right? I've known for a while now that you've been spending it on your own.
Well, there are various circumstances related to my work, you know.
Related to work, huh? So going on an overseas trip with your mistress is also part of your job.
How did you find out about that?
You've been careless, haven't you? I can check the credit card statements too, you know. I know about the overseas trip tickets, the accommodation, the restaurants you've been to, and your women's luxury items. I know everything you've spent on your mistress. As I raised my voice, Tom fell silent. I said again, You're the one who started misusing our marital property, aren't you? So I'll be taking the money from the sale of the house to cover what you've given to your mistress so far and for compensation.
Compensation? But what about our living situation after selling the house?
Don't tell me you're trying to keep living together with me. There's no way I'm not going to divorce a husband who goes on a romantic trip while his wife is in the hospital.
Divorce? Wait, it was just a fling. I never wanted to divorce you.
You spend more than $10,000 on a fling. If that's the case, I want even less to do with such an idiot. Plus, you prioritized a trip with your mistress over being by your wife's side during emergency surgery. That makes me less than a fling to you. There's no way I could live like this any longer.
That's not true. You're my precious wife.
Do you think I can believe you now? No matter what you say, I don't want to see your face anymore. I'll be living freely in a new home, so you can do as you like. Go to your mistress or something.
Are you serious? You'll regret it.
What I regret is the 10 years of married life I've spent with you.
You've forgotten that I provided for you these 10 years, haven't you?
Provided for me? Don't joke around. The savings you squandered included the money I earned from working, didn't it? Don't get high and mighty after spending it all.
Don't you have any sentimentality? Is this how you treat a husband you've been with for years?
That's rich coming from you. I'm just throwing your own words back at you. As a kindness, I've put your stuff at the dump. So if you don't hurry, the garbage collectors will take it.
That's a lie, right? Damn it. Don't screw with me. I'm done with you.
With that, Tom hung up in a hurry. He's probably rushing to the dump right now. When I threw out the large items, I placed the divorce papers on top. Tom should be noticing the divorce papers by now. After saying all that, he's bound to agree to our divorce. While hoping that he would never contact me again, I was about to start a new life. But within a month, I got a call from Tom again. What now? I don't have anything more to discuss with you. With that, I tried to hang up, but I could hear Tom's screaming voice from the other end.
Wait, don't hang up. We haven't filed for divorce yet. I'm still your husband. Listen to your husband. We haven't filed for divorce.
His unexpected words left me with no choice but to listen to what Tom had to say. What do you mean, we haven't filed for divorce yet?
Well, after that, I decided to live with her. I've decided to observe a little longer before getting a divorce and remarrying. It was the right decision.
Why?
She spends money like water. Plus, she says things like, if we're getting married, I want to be a homemaker. Even if we have a ton of savings, it won't be enough if I marry her.
I knew that even before you two started living together. I'm surprised you didn't notice her spending habits after you've showered her with gifts. Then Tom said, as if he was impressed,
I see, Nancy. You're solid. I'm certain from what you just said, you're the only one who can be my wife.
Excuse me?
Nancy, let's start over. You've just been sick. It must be scary to be alone, right?
Is this guy an idiot? He won't understand unless I give it to him straight. I took a deep breath and raised my voice. Scary? How dare you say that? The most scared I've ever been was when I was alone in the hospital on the day of my surgery. Even when I was trembling with fear before the surgery, even when I was enduring the pain after the surgery, you weren't there for me.
I'm really sorry about that. I wasn't thinking straight.
It's not just that time, is it? After all this time cheating on me, how can you say that?
A lot has happened, but I can't do without you. You feel the same way, don't you? That's why you've been with me for 10 years, isn't it?
Stop talking nonsense. I'm certain that I can't continue with you after what happened. I can't even imagine spending my life with someone I can't build a relationship of trust with.
So you don't want to give it another try?
No, not at all.
What about my feelings?
My affection for you disappeared a long time ago. I still had feelings for you as a family member, and I thought we could spend the rest of our lives thanking each other. You've trampled on those feelings. Tom fell silent, and I left him with these final words. But I do have one thing to thank you for. Once I found out you were cheating, I was so angry that I felt like I couldn't afford to be sick. I decided to level that house and sell it before you returned from your cheating trip.
What the hell is that?
Thanks to you, I was able to recover surprisingly fast. Even the hospital doctors were shocked. It seems like my anger towards you became the motivation to keep going. I'll thank you for that.
Nancy, think this is over?
No, go to hell with your mistress. Goodbye. Without listening to Tom's reply, I hung up the phone and immediately contacted my lawyer. I couldn't stand postponing the divorce any longer. I intended to fight this legally. I had saved all the evidence of his infidelity, ready to submit to my lawyer. I was sure the divorce proceedings and the demand for compensation for emotional distress would go smoothly. If I left everything to my lawyer, there would be no need for me to contact Tom anymore. To ensure that I wouldn't get calls from him, I even changed my cell phone number. I doubted he would dare come to my workplace. Even if he did, I had informed my colleagues about the situation. Since Tom's bad reputation was already well known in the office, I believed they would alert me immediately if they saw him and avoid any direct encounters. Everything proceeded exactly as I planned. Tom, after hearing from the lawyer, obediently agreed to the divorce and accepted the demand for emotional distress compensation. As for his mistress, apparently, she had resigned to paying the compensation since she couldn't deny their affair. It seemed she was all ready to remarry Tom once our divorce was finalized, and she insisted on paying her part of the compensation from Tom's savings, treating it as if it belonged to both of them. At this rate, his savings would be drained in no time. He and his mistress seemed set to continue their irresponsible relationship, and I could see that Tom would be in a tough time for a while. Yet, I had no sympathy for him at all. He brought this on himself by cheating with a money-grubbing woman. On the other hand, I managed to rent an apartment of the same size as before, using the money from selling our house and the compensation from the divorce. The fruitless 10 years I spent with Tom won't come back, but now I can live my life without being controlled by him. If I ever remarry, I would make sure it is with someone who values trust. I made up my mind to follow that principle.